Okay, I'm Joe Vaughan. Our vineyard here is called 100 Hunts. It is 27 hectares and it was planted in 1996. It's on the Mornington Peninsula. The varieties that are most common on the peninsula are Pinot Noir, Chardonnay and Pinot Gris. We also have some alternative varieties, some Italian varieties. We have Friulano, Fiano, Muscat Petit Grand Blanc and Tremonar, and we have Shiraz. One day I walked out and I just felt like a war zone because everything I was doing was killing something. I was using herbicide, fungicide, insecticide, all these things ending in side. They're killing something. And I thought that's what I want to be doing. I want to be promoting life rather than killing life. And it sounds a bit corny, but it was a bit of a light bulb moment for me. It wasn't a turn the switch off on all those things. I'm a practical person, I think. We still use those things, but we do a lot of other things to promote life, including we make a lot of compost. We mulch under the vines, so the soil's always covered. We promote the fungal and bacteria ratio in the soil. I'm a huge fan of the mycorrhizal network, which is extending our root zone and the plant's ability to grow. The compost is, I'm a bit of a compost warrior, I suppose, but people talk about recycling waste. It's not waste at all, it's a resource. What we use for our compost is grape marc, so it's what's left after the wine making process. It's skins and stems. I get grape marc from a few different vineyards. We also get stable manure from, there's a lot of horse trainers around here. I get wood chips from the tree lopping people, maybe some old silage, stuff like that. And they're all mixed up. You'd think it would be quite an acidic thing, but it's not at all. It is when you first start. At the end, its pH is 7, it's full of life. Yeah. It breaks down into something that's unrecognisable. We don't understand why or can see those things or how it works, but it's just a miracle. Yeah. The mulch is actually quite woody material. We band spread the mulch under the vine. It's probably about 25 cubic metres the acre. It's sort of a thick, this sort of deep under the vine. Usually lasts about a year or 18 months before the soil organisms break it down and pull it all in. It has an insulating effect and buffering effect on temperature and hot and cold, moisture, wet and dry. It promotes fungal population. Well, every second row we've sowed some flowering crops. The aim is to keep flowering plants in the vineyard all the time. They provide a home for all those insects and pollinators, and not that we need pollinators for grapevines, but the world needs pollinators. So. The benefits of mowing every second row, the aim of it is to leave flowering plants in the vineyard at all times. Instead of stripping it bare, which strips away everything. But the plant's taller, it's photosynthesising more, it's putting more down into the soil, there's better water infiltration, there's heaps of benefits. It's all in the roots of those plants. Yeah. I mean, for instance, before harvest we net the vineyard. We used to get flocks of starlings that would blot out the sun, and you hate all birds pretty much. But really our greatest protection here now is magpies. They're territorial, they chase everybody else away. We have more birds on the vineyard now. We've counted them actually, 57 different species, and what they call woodland birds, so birds that are on the ground, feeding on the ground, which tells me there's life on the ground, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. The other thing is insects. We haven't used any insecticides now. I think this is the 14th year. But I mentioned before about the mowing every second row, so we allow flowering plants to be in the vineyard at all times, which brings the insects in, including the predatory insects. Our main problem is light brown apple moth. Before, when we had mowed grass and bare soil, we had a lot of light brown apple moth, which we used to spray for, but they had nowhere else to go. Now they've got somewhere else to go, and also they've got the populations that prey on them. It hasn't cost anything. You know, it's just a matter of trying to outthink it a bit. Yeah. I think you have to have a different mindset. Messy is a state of mind, I suppose. And also weeds. What's the definition of a weed? Is a plant growing out of place. Don't get too bound up in the weeds. I mean, they're putting roots down to the ground, they're photosynthesising, they're putting carbon back in the soil, they're opening the soil up, they're improving water infiltration, as long as they're not interfering with our prime goal, which is growing fruit. One of the things we did this year, we sowed 3 different clovers at the same time as we sowed the sunflowers, and then when the sunflowers are finished, I just knocked them down and the clovers all came through. The biology under that was fantastic. So it confirms that having living roots there is beneficial. And that's the good part about these trials. Sometimes the results are not what you expect, and having results is a good thing. Like, rather than just thinking something, you can prove it. That's really good. Oh, I was flattered. It sort of maybe encouraged other people to make a start too. Sometimes it felt like we're here on our own doing things. By having that award, it was done by Vaughan and his wife. He's passed away now, but his support of the Peninsula viticulture industry was just never ending. It was good. It's really good. Oh, I really want to continue with the just try and improve all the time. And that's what regenerative is. It's improving. Talk about sustainable, which I always think is like tear and repair, whereas regenerative is improving all the time. And my focus this year will be again on that mid-row flowering plants, and also we've got to solve this under vine area with a living mulch. Yeah. I think it's just a better way of doing it. I mean, you read some things where they say we've only had 60 harvests left. A very thin layer of topsoil across the world is like it's like the skin on an apple. It's tiny, you know, and really all life on Earth depends on it. And someone's got to make a start.